Hey, what's going on, guys? Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net, and welcome to our U.S. Open Women's 2024 Finals preview between Aryna Sabalenka and Jessica Pegula. If you want to find out who I think is going to win this match and why, stay tuned. It's coming up next. This has been a pretty surprising tournament, not only on the men's side, but also on the women's side. Pegula making her first ever run to a major final here. She'd never been even to a semifinal before this tournament, but she's had a really good run. And we know Sabalenka was a finalist in this U.S. Open 2023 last year, losing to Coco Gauff. And this is a matchup between Pegula, who is the 6th seed, right, and Sabalenka is the 2 seed. So let's go ahead and look at Aryna's run to the final and who she's had to play in each round to get to this final. So if you look at the first round matchup for Aryna, you can see that Sabalenka drew the qualifier, Priscilla Hahn from Australia. Hahn, a very good game. I watched a bunch of her matches coming through qualifying. Very good serve, good forehand, good backhand. Serve can be a little bit spotty at times, but Sabalenka was pretty comfortable overpowering Hahn in this match. They had some good exchanges, but Sabalenka won comfortably 3-3. We go to Sabalenka's next round, right, against Bronzetti, the Italian player. She cruised through this match 3-1, wasn't pushed really at all here. Very easy work for Sabalenka in the second round. Then we go over to the third round, right, playing her first seed, Ekaterina Alexandrova in the third round, right, the 29 seed. Expected this match to possibly be a little bit close, and it was. Alexandrova taking the first set here 6-2, then Sabalenka kind of storming back, though, again 1-2. And most of these players on the WTA Tour, the problem that Sabalenka presents for everyone is that not only does she hit the ball incredibly hard, but she's also able to finish points at the net and has some variety in her game when she needs it. She also moves really well, especially for a girl of her height, a player of her height. So she's really tough to handle because she's really rounding out her entire game. Let's look at the fourth round now, right? Sabalenka runs into Elise Mertens, who can serve very well, is very consistent from the back of the court, and has been playing very well. But again, here, Sabalenka very comfortable winning this match 2-4. Then we go to the quarterfinals, where I thought Sabalenka would be tested for the first time. I guess I was wrong, right? She plays Zhang, who is the gold medal winner at the Olympics, beating Swiatek there at the Olympics to upset her and beat her at Roland Garros, essentially on clay, which for Swiatek is something that's really, really difficult to beat her on that surface. So Sabalenka here cruises 1-2 very comfortably over Zhang, and again, overpowers another player. She just hits so big on her forehand and backhand side. I think at one point they had posted a graphic up that showed Sabalenka's average forehand speed being higher than the highest men on tour, right? Higher than Alcaraz on average and higher at Sinner. I think she was at 80 miles an hour on average on her forehand side. So she absolutely cranks off both sides of the court. And then we look at Navarro versus Sabalenka. Pretty highly contested semifinal here. Navarro has been playing very, very good tennis for the last year. She's come into her own. She's going to be a top 10 player here pretty quick. And she loses this match, though, 3-6 to Sabalenka. One thing that Navarro did in this match that gave Sabalenka a little bit of trouble is Navarro sliced her backhand a little bit more to Sabalenka's backhand. And she did this for two primary reasons. First big reason, she's trying to slow down the tempo and pace of the match, right, and the points themselves, to give herself more time to recover between shots. And the second big thing that she's trying to do, right, is trying to get Sabalenka to potentially overhit or get frustrated and not be able to hit as big and offensively back to her so that Navarro could potentially get aggressive on the next shot. So Sabalenka was in control of this match for the most part. The second set obviously got a lot tighter, going to a tiebreak. But again, Sabalenka here, 3-6. That was her path to the finals. Let's go ahead now. Let's look at Pegula's path to the finals. So if we look at Jess's path to the finals, we see her first opponent was a very good friend of hers, right? Shelby Rogers, ranked around 300 in the world at this point, got a wild card into this U.S. Open. And again, Pegula cruises through this match here pretty quickly, 4-3. In the second round, she runs into the 2020 Australian Open champion, Sofia Kenin. Pretty close first set, 7-6, but then wins the second set, 6-3, and controls this match pretty well against Kenin. Third round, right? The Spaniard, Buzas Minero, right? A younger up-and-coming opponent, 21 years old, definitely rising through the ranks a little bit, ranked currently around 75 in the world. But Pegula, again, pretty comfortable in this match, winning 6-3, 6-3. Then we go to the fourth round match. She plays against Schneider, the Russian player who played a year of college tennis as well. Pegula wins this match 4-2 very comfortably. Again, Pegula's serving pretty well, not a huge serve, but placing her serve well throughout all these matches. And one big change she's made recently, she's added a little bit more pace from the back of the court on her ground strokes, forehand and backhand side. She's playing a little bit more aggressive, and that's allowing her to go through a little bit more offensively with some of these opponents and finish off some short balls and situations she earns throughout points. Then we go into her quarterfinal match, right? She plays the number 1 seed, Swiatek. And we can see that overall head-to-head with Swiatek coming into this match, right, was 2-6, 2 wins, 6 losses. But she did a good job of evening that up here. So if we look at this just a little bit, look at their previous match history, right? Swiatek convincingly in the WTA finals in 2023. But Pegula, right, beating her in Montreal back in 2023 as well, and now getting the win at the U.S. Open on this quicker surface, so takes that head-to-head. Instead of 2-6, it's now 3-6 in Swiatek's favor. But Pegula on this surface gave her a lot of trouble and a lot of problems, ends up beating her 6-2, 6-4, and there was a couple big reasons why. Swiatek a little bit off on this particular day, but you have to credit Pegula because what she did in this match is she hit a little bit harder and a little bit deeper, and Swiatek has that extreme Western grip or close to a Western grip on her forehand side, so a faster surface like we have at the U.S. Open isn't a desirable surface for Iga in this situation. Pegula was getting shots that were skidding and skipping through the court. This was giving Swiatek's forehand in particular a lot of trouble, and she was having a lot of issues making errors with those skidding balls coming through to her forehand side. So again, Pegula very good here, beating her in straight sets, which is really impressive. We go to that semifinal matchup, right? Muchova, someone who did a good job making a run to the semifinals of the U.S. Open last year and has had a ton of injuries throughout her career. Muchova coming off of a wrist surgery, was out almost 10 months in the last 10 months. And is now coming back. They had a very good close battle here. Muchova actually winning the first set 6-1. Looks like she was going to cruise through this match. But Pegula coming back, being very consistent and beating her 6-4, 6-2 in the next 2 sets. Jess just very solid on everything. Doesn't have a massive serve, but places her serve very well. And she did that very well against Muchova in this match. So here we are now, right? We've got Pegula trying to win her first ever major final, first appearance ever in a major championship. Can she beat Sabalenka, who she lost to in Cincinnati just about 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? So Sabalenka owns the career head-to-head. If we look at this a little bit, she's up 5-2 in total matches won. They've played 7 times on the tour. If we just look at those matches in particular, right? The Cincinnati final, which we just talked about, was played a few weeks back. Sabalenka beat her there 6-3, 7-5. Before that, WTA finals, right? Pegula won 6-4, 6-3. WTA finals before that in 2022, Sabalenka winning. So a lot of these matches that Sabalenka won, if we just kind of look at the 2022 and 2021 and 2020 results, those were actually played on clay, 3 of those in a row where Sabalenka wins very comfortably on that surface. If you look at the hard court head-to-head, right, we basically have them even here at 2 matches apiece. So going into this final, to me, there's not necessarily a 100% favorite one or the other, because on a hard court, they're 2-2 even, with Sabalenka winning the last match at Cincinnati on hard. So we know this is being played on a fast U.S. Open surface, which might actually favor Pegula in some situations here. But let's look at 5 different keys to winning this match. So the first big key, right, is that in the previous match that Pegula played against Muchova in the semifinals, her average first serve speed was 96 miles an hour on her first serve, and her second serve average speed was 76 miles an hour. In her quarterfinal match, her average speeds were a little bit higher on the first and second serve than they were in the semifinals against Muchova. When she played Swiatek, she upped that serve speed just a little bit because she probably felt the pressure of Iga's quality of return. But a big key for Pegula in this match, she's got to keep her first serve above 65% against Sabalenka. Otherwise, she's going to hit too many second serves, and Sabalenka is going to step up and she's going to destroy that second serve. If it's sitting in the mid 70s or even low 80s, she's going to get aggressive and get Jess on defense right away. Pegula cannot let that happen. The second big key to this match, right? Pegula has gone throughout this tournament without hitting more winners than most of her opponents, especially in her last few matches. Her opponents were the ones typically hitting more winners than she was. Jess is not going to blast through Sabalenka in this match and overpower her. She's going to beat her by hitting consistently hard, but also very deep in the court to try to get balls to skid through against Sabalenka. So another big key is that Pegula has to hit with a ton of depth in this match to try to force Sabalenka to overhit. So if Pegula can hit really deep, right, get those balls to skid through the court, we know Jess doesn't play with a lot of topspin. That's going to be a big key for her trying to win this match. The third big key to this match is Sabalenka has to keep her composure in this match. She can't lose her cool if Jess is playing high-level tennis and hitting balls deep in the court, right? If Sabalenka is forced to be on her back foot a lot, it's going to be mentally frustrating. We know a lot of times on the court, she has trouble keeping her composure. So one of the keys here is if Jess is hitting really deep and forcing her on her back foot, one is patience, but the really big one here is that she keeps her mental composure and doesn't lose her cool on the court. The next big key to this match is, can Pegula move well enough and defend well enough to blunt Sabalenka's power? Sabalenka has the type of power we talked about, her average forehand speed being around 80 miles per hour in certain matches. She has the type of power where she can essentially hit you with one shot off of the court. You have to be able with your feet to defend against that and hit good quality balls and survive those aggressive shots. So the question in this match, unlike Cincinnati, can Pegula move well enough and defend well enough to blunt the force of those big shots from Sabalenka? That's the next big key. And the last big key to this match is, can Pegula use variety like Navarro used in the semifinal against Sabalenka, use a lot of slice on her backhand side to force Sabalenka to hit up and hit less aggressive. If you're getting balls that are down by your ankles and your shins, it's hard to be aggressive and hit over the net without making mistakes. And we noticed when Navarro sliced really well to Sabalenka's backhand side, a lot of times Sabalenka wouldn't get as aggressive with those shots, which allowed Navarro to potentially hit aggressive on her next shot. So will Pegula have a good enough slice backhand or slice in general to force Sabalenka to take a little pace off her ball, which might give Pegula a chance and an opening to get aggressive on the next shot? All right, so who am I taking to win this US Open women's final? I'm going to take Sabalenka here in 3 sets. I think she has too much firepower, too much variety, and too much ability to finish the points off at the net if she needs to, for Pegula to really kind of hurt her in this match. The Cincinnati final a few weeks ago, to me, was a little bit of a preview of this US Open final. If Pegula can hit really effective slices and serve a really high percentage of first serves and also defend really well, she has a good chance to make this a tight 3-set match. If she doesn't do those things, I think Sabalenka is going to take her off the court in 2 pretty routine sets. All right, guys, that wraps it up for our US Open Women's Finals preview. If you found this video helpful or you feel like you learned something today, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'm Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net. I'll see you next time.